Hello the internet and welcome back to the live stream. It is Saturday the 14th of March 2020. Today I will be live for 94 minutes. That is, of course, unless the coronavirus doesn't attack me, you, the internet, everything around us, the chair I'm sitting on, the air I'm breathing, the desk I'm working from, the water I'm going to use to illustrate a point later on in the stream. Everything, right? The coronavirus is just smashing this planet. What can I say? I don't know what to say. I feel like we're in a very, very strange point of our life. This is a global thing. Ironically, this is one of the only things that's binding us all together, which is kind of strange when you think about the whole planet. We're very, very separate, usually. Yet here we are all combining to one for some reason. That in itself has got the conspiracy theories up in an uproar, right? Basically, they're claiming that this doesn't exist. I would suggest that this very much does exist right now, folks. Sad to say this does exist, but it's nice to have you lot here on the stream. In the chit chat, I've got a bunch of people already. I want to go back up and read the entire chat, so I'm going to scroll back with that. Go back to the very top, because that's what these things are for on the weekly stream. It's about a conversation we have with you guys, so I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Plus, it gives me a chance to settle the nerves. I am nervous here streaming on YouTube. I don't know why. I get it every week. Fingers are shaking right now. Could be the coronavirus. Who knows? Mindy up in the chit chat. Mindy says, Paula and Tim were sort of talking about Mindy being a flat earther. Pass it on. Now that is going to be the topic of discussion on this very stream. We did a flat earth discussion on DLive, and it raised a very interesting question that I need help with. I'm not going to lie. I'm questioning what I understand because of this point, and we'll get to it, right? We'll get to it, but it's definitely one that needs some clarification. Maybe we'll open up the call-in lines for this too, because it could be a very simple explanation to me. At this point, it doesn't feel very clear to me. I said this should be interesting. Tim said, good morning, Benon. What should be interesting? That we found out Mindy is a flat earther. Tim just almost creakied that, didn't he? He put that out there because he wanted to stir the pot. I said, no, the general discussion, or the discussion in general. And then Tim further creakied it by saying, are you saying Mindy is not interesting? Dude, what have you been taking lessons from Jonathan Creek? How to stir pots? Crikey, calm down, Tim. Mindy's laughing out loud. And I said, it looks like you are saying that. That's what I'm saying. Like, if sometimes when the pot stirrer stirs the pot, right? Not just Creaky, or in this case Tim, but when someone does that, it's more often than not that they're trying to make a point about themselves, right? For whatever the reason. Mindy quickly defended herself by saying, I'm not a flat earther, but Tim and Paula are. And that just continues the spiral, the cycle. It's kind of funny though. Paula says, that's slanderous, take it back, or I'm reporting you to YouTube. And I said, that's cool. If you're going to report me, maybe it'll get me on YouTube's radar, which would be a good thing. So please do report me. Mindy's, hi Benon. Hey Mindy. Benon, you were the one taking the topic off discussion, okay, from Mindy, and saying today's chat should be interesting. I think I'm allowed to take the topic to where I wish. It's my stream. And all I was doing was saying the topic in discussion should be great. Tim. Mindy says, no, you take it back. Mindy says, I might have to call in if I get too worked up. Well, yeah, we're going to open up the call-ins on this one for sure. This conversation definitely needs other people's opinions. My opinion is, no, the Earth is not flat, but there are some definite compelling arguments to why, at least in my situation, I'm second questioning a lot of things. There are definitely some compelling arguments. You can't deny this. Well, you might be able to deny it, and I'd like clarification on one particular issue, which we'll get to. Paula says, I don't know how long into the stream I will make it. I slept for 4 hours last night. 4 hours each night this week getting over the flu, not corona. And I just got back from a day trip to Khartoum. And I said, I need some help on this. Okay, cool. Sorry to hear that, Paul. I hope you can feel better soon. So with all this coronavirus crap going around, you would obviously have to speculate that perhaps Paula has come down with it, right? We don't know. Paula's been tested, but mandatory testing in the firm Paula works, but Paula skipped the test, but still has the piece of paper saying they got tested. Hope you feel better soon, Paula. And Paula gave a great question. If the world is flat, why did God invent boobs? Okay. Tim says, if a radar can electronically see a great distance over the ocean, why is the radar screen flat if not to represent the Earth being flat? Well, there's a very easy one for that, a very easy answer. It's a two-dimensional rendering of a three-dimensional thing. Much easier to render something on a flat plane in 2 dimensions than it is to physically make a three-dimensional model. Tim, even you can see that one, dude. But as for the boobs, I'm at a loss on that one. I don't understand that. Yeah. And Tim says you may need to do some brushing up on those. I see what you did there, Tim, brushing up on the boobs. I'll do my best, I said. And Mindy says the radar is just a representation of the Doppler equation. Now, I don't know what that is, but we do have the Google machine handy. Let's go and have a quick look. The Doppler equation. Let's search for that crap. The Doppler equation. This is the beauty of the freaking internet, is it not? The Doppler effect equation, and calculating frequency change. Let's have a quick squiz at this. Okay, let's make this a little larger so you yahoos can see it as well. Okay, so for a moment, close your eyes and pretend you are standing on a sidewalk or a footpath or a pavement, depending on where you live and what you call it. And an ambulance is swiftly approaching your position, right? So we're on a sidewalk, ambulance is coming. You listen as the ambulance draws near, and after it passes, the pitch or the frequency of the siren seems to change. Yeah, woo! Like the old mosquito. Right? Same scenario. In 1842, Christian Doppler hypothesized that the sound frequencies change relative to the observer. Yes, when emitted from a moving sound source, a mosquito or an ambulance. In 1845, Bayes' ballot proved Doppler's hypothesis correct. As the ambulance approaches, the waves seem shorter and the frequency seems higher than when it moves away. Okay, when it moves away, the waves seem longer. The Doppler effect is illustrated in the cartoon above. Apparent wavelength. So the wavelength is getting less and less as the ambulance moves away as opposed to approaching. Well, I mean, that does make sense, right? That does make sense. So how does that affect a two-dimensional map? I'm not 100% certain, but I just learned about the Doppler effect. Doppler. Sounds like a name of a dance band. Welcome back to the main stage, the Doppler effect. Yeah. Play that song about the frequencies. That's all of our songs. That's why we're called the Doppler effect. I'll be back, says Tim. As Arnie said, I'm just going to the shops to get some moo juice for my coffee and laugh at people looking for toilet paper. There you go. I said you better grab some bog roll while you're out. You probably need to poop after a coffee. Don't we all? Paula, my highlight of the week was a Sudanese soldier with what looked like a homemade machine gun coming right up to my face and asking if I have a fever. His spit went into my mouth. Dude, Paula, you better get yourself freaking checked now, right? You've got something. You got a Sudanese man spitting in your mouth? That's the least of your concerns right now. Happy days. Tim says, my coffee could make a constipated blue whale poop. Oh shit. It's that strong. That's a strong coffee. I'm making the coffee. Paper-wise, I've still got over 100 rolls, so I'm right. Just go to Aldi, and in the morning they restock at night. Did you stock up on 100? Are you that guy, Tim? Did you go and buy 100 rolls of bog roll? You're that guy? Shit. I can use that word with the greatest effect right now. Shit. Paula says, we had a lot of Chinese on flights back as well. It will be an interesting wait to see what the medical delays await me. Yeah, I said, you got to go and get checked. And you said you were checked twice coming back, so you're clear. I have a high temperature because of the flu. I'm still shaking off a tooth infection. I was scared they would take me away somewhere. They didn't do a proper test, just an interview and a temperature check. It doesn't sound good, Paula. I'm just going to say that. Well, let's wait and see what anything comes of it. I suspect they don't have enough tests. Did you check for coronavirus? And Paula says, the good news is Peter Dutton has corona. That cheered my day up. Now, I'm not sure who Peter Dutton is, but like I said earlier, we got the freaking internet here. Who the hell is Peter Dutton? Peter Dutton, there you go. Peter Dutton is an Australian Liberal Party politician serving as Minister for Home Affairs. There you go. This guy. This guy. Peter Dutton diagnosed with coronavirus 2 hours ago. Federal government frontbencher said he felt fine but woke up with a temperature and sore throat. I immediately contacted the Queensland Health Department and was subsequently requested for COVID-19. I was advised by Queensland Health this afternoon that the test had returned positive. In the policy of Queensland Health that anyone who tests positive be admitted to hospital, I've complied with their advice. I feel fine and will provide an update in due course. There you go. That's a bad frame grab. He's got coronavirus. Paula, I guess you know that you can have two viruses at the same time. Yeah, I was thinking about that today. Lack of sleep, tooth infections, flu, spend a lot of time on planes and trains. It doesn't sound good for you, Paula. I'm just saying. How is your immunity usually, though? My immunity is down on the downside right now with this crap, but I haven't got the coronavirus yet. Did you get the flu shot? It's obligatory at his firm, but he skipped it. But he has a paper saying he got it. Interesting. Benny's up in the chat. Doesn't know how long he can stay, but he's got to work. Paula said all schools are closed here. Kidders music clubs are shutting down. Yeah, and lots of things are shut here in Australia, folks. It's all come to a standstill. Like I've got a website, right? It's called Across the Ocean. It's my music website. I get sent promotional material from record labels, music labels, everything that you could conceivably connect to some music. I get emails from those people, and the far and the majority of those this week were cancellations of some sort or another. I got the big one for me was the Download Festival. Let's actually go and have a look at the announcement that I put on my website about that. If we go to search for Across the Ocean. This is my site here, my music site, Across the Ocean. Now, this one directly affects me because I was going to be photographing this festival coming up, would have been next weekend. Download Australia cancelled due to coronavirus. This is the PR release. It's kind of a weirdly structured promotional material because it sort of lays the blame at a band, My Chemical Romance. Not really. If you read it, you can see that it's not actually saying that, but it kind of just badly worded. It is with intense disappointment that we announced that My Chemical Romance will not be coming to Australia to play Download. So at that point, you probably just think, well, I don't mind. I don't care too much for that band. That's cool. The festival still goes on. But then you keep reading, and then My Chemical Romance issued a statement. Then the Download crew said, given that this announcement has come barely 7 days prior to the festival beginning, we are not able to secure an alternative headliner, and as such, there is insufficient time to secure visas and arrange other relevant logistics we are required prior to the festival. As we are unable to deliver a complete lineup to meet the standard, we have very reluctantly made the decision to cancel Download Australia altogether. It's kind of a badly worded press release, right? It kind of lays the blame at My Chemical Romance, but that's not what happened. My Chemical Romance have decided to make postpone their tour because of the coronavirus. Nothing to do with Download Festival not being able to secure another bands. So that's a disappointment for me. That's just one example. The Pixies cancelled their tour midway through. Now I was due to potentially photograph that one at Sydney as well at the Opera House, and that's a bit of disappointment. Not a huge disappointment. I have photographed the Pixies before when they were the actual Pixies with Kim Deal, so I don't really mind too bad, but there's a lot of news going down right now. That's the point of that illustration. A lot of news coming in, a lot of cancellations. Back further down the chat, you made the right choice. Benny started growing vegetables. There you go, Benny. Nice move. He's growing broccoli, spinach, onions, chives, tomatoes, carrots, lettuce to start with. Rad. I said I was off in 10 minutes. I'll see you all in 10. Paula says, normally I'd say pouty or nose, but tonight pouty or carcinoma. That's right, folks. I do have a skin cancer. If you're looking at this stream going, what the hell is wrong with this guy? Has he got the coronavirus all over himself? Nothing to do with the coronavirus. A lot to do with my immunity and my immune system. That is a basal cell carcinoma. It's being treated by Aldara cream. 5 weeks in, I'm happy to announce there's no more cream treatment needed. The latest doctor's update is stop the treatment, come back in 1 month, we'll go from there. So I'm feeling run down because the way this cream works, it sucks your immunity from anywhere else in your body and transposes it onto this. So I feel run down. I've got bruised ribs from surfing. I've got fin chops. Look at my fin chop on my toe. Fin chop on my toe here. Got a rash under my thigh from the wetsuit. I've been surfing a lot. I've actually been surfing every single day since a waiver day concluded. Now, that's my fault, right? I got myself to blame for that. Benny says proper industrial masks can stop the virus. You can get them from Bunnings, more important than toilet paper. Well, depends if you got to take a shit or not. I've never wiped my ass with a mask. Maybe I will. But I see what you're saying, Benny. I see what you're saying. Paula, my grandmother kept a little vegetable garden. Love those times. Yeah, man. We used to keep veggies in our garden up in the Adelaide Hills. Rather not talk about that, though. Merkel in Germany said they're projecting 60 to 70% of people to be infected with coronavirus. And it can go in via your eyes, which is why I've been wearing these when I go to sleep at night. They go on my eyes at night, and therefore I'm protected. Yeah, I paused for dramatic effect there. I don't wear these at night, folks. You want to protect your eyes? Close them. Of course, you can't walk around with your eyes closed all the time. Or can you? They made a film about that, didn't they? Imagine we streamed with our eyes closed. It'd be kind of funny. You wouldn't be able to see the chat. Be like, someone said something. Oh, you'd have to have TTS on, of course. Anyway, that's not how you deal with it, right? You open your eyes, you wear a mask, you have your immunity built up. I've been taking a lot of echinacea and a lot of vitamin C and a lot of, well, yesterday, vodka and vitamin C, a lot of garlic tablets as well. Whee! You know it. Paula says, I hope my nightly joint will help me. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how legal... Is that legal in Germany? I don't know if that's legal in Germany. I mean, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have any experience with that. Once a mask is damp or wet due to your breath, the coronavirus can travel from the outer surface to the inner surface to become inhaled or vice versa for an infected person. And you're always breathing out moisture. That's the nature of your breath, right? Benny says, either way, having something is better than nothing. I don't know about that. I see still people walking around the airports with dirty-looking masks, Paula. Yeah, see, and if they're wet, then that's just a straight-up transfer, right? Shyla Rose in the chit-chat. Shyla, how do you do? I don't want to bring this down. In fact, I won't even do it, Shyla. If you want to announce it, you can announce it. It's not my call. It's not unless you say it's okay. I won't do it. But I hope you're well. Good to have you here. Good morning. Okay, we're getting down to the bottom of the chit chat here, folks. Just want to make sure we didn't miss anything. Paula says, I skipped the mandatory flu jab. I have the paper to say I got it though. Interesting. The normal flu jab. Okay, I gotcha. I thought Paula meant she didn't get her flu shot. That was required. Paula's a man, but that's an easy mistake to make. Chin Marie up in the chit chat. Chin Marie all the way over from D Live Town. Good to see you, Chin Marie. Welcome to the YouTube stream. Things are a little different here on YouTube, Chin Marie. Everybody say hello to Chin Marie. She's from D Live. Things are a little different here on YouTube. Let me just be clear. First of all, the main difference is I get shit scared streaming on YouTube. I'm not gonna lie. I get scared coming out here. I'm shaking. Well, that's a bit of an exaggeration. No, it's not actually. A little bit. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't understand it. I think we've avoided all the tech issues. I think we've managed to nab the tech down, and Restream.io definitely makes my stream experience flawless. I stream to YouTube with OBS now and Restream. And it seems to be okay, but I always have this concern in the back of my mind that something's going to go down on YouTube, and then the whole thing's worth nothing for me. You know, that's my fear. Nice to have you though, Chin Marie. Tim says that my physics teacher ended up yelling at me as I didn't understand the Doppler effect. I didn't get it till he changed his pitch. Oh my goodness gracious. Chin Marie, I bought 32 and don't eat enough to poo. You bought 32 rolls of shit tickets, what we call them in Australia, or bog roll. Tim, his frequency of telling me over and over was annoying. It was like coming in one way at one tone, then going out the other another tone. Okay, Tim, you've recovered yourself. You've recovered yourself with that. You've made some dubious comments in my chats, but sometimes you flip it on its arse end and recover with something smart like that. So I appreciate that. Mindy says all schools and universities are closed, sports are shut down, and pro and college sports are shut down, and concerts too. Dudes, this is kicking, right? This is kicking off big time. I'm hoping my German school will be canned. And that is one hell of a PR stretch. Yeah, totally. David Pretty Bread up in the chit chat. Hi, people around the world. Only thing not cancelled is the Gives a Minute live stream. You can't get anything from a stream, right? So we got a chance to really harness this right now. Like, you can't catch a disease through streaming. So hell yeah, bring on the live streams. I still have to work and be coughed on. Mindy, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, what do you do in the healthcare profession, Mindy? What's your safety? How do you take precautions here? Maybe the download public release script writing is done offshore and no longer in Australia. Actually, no, it's done in Melbourne. It's from Secret Service PR and a beautiful couple of crew in Melbourne. Got a lot of time for that PR company. They've been very good to me over the years. Lovely people, all done in-house in Melbourne town. Secret Service PR, if you want to go and find them. Tweet at them. Quasi-legal. Kiwi fruit is high in vitamin C, but the kiwi fruit being sold in Australia is imported from Italy at the moment. Good morning, Benon. I'm still a blubbering mess, but I'll be better in time. Thanks for the support. Understood, Charlotte. Understood. Benny saying, hi, David. Hi, Chin Marie. Benny recognizes David. David being the winner of the ViewTech Full Face Snorkel Mask. Also an Irish man up there in Ireland. That's pretty cool. Someone won a snorkel mask up in Ireland. Awesome stuff. Paula, can I change the YouTube username? Your username? Of course you can. I think you can change it once every 3 months. Paula says, Charla, hugs and positive vibes for whatever you're dealing with. Yeah, there you go, Charla. I have my mask, my ViewTech Full Face. It looks brilliant. It's a great mask, man. I got to tell you, I've still got mine right under my bed there. I get a lot of masks, right? I do a lot of reviews and I give a lot of them to people. Not just the giveaways, I just physically give them to people. I kept that one. The ones that I've kept, let me show it to you. I kept three masks. There's one further back under the bed, which I won't be able to get because it's just too far back. I kept the Seaview 180 V2. This guy. Please ignore how dirty it is, but you know this guy. I kept that. Awesome mask. Very, very cool. Very cool stuff. Seaview 180 V2. And I kept my version of the ViewTech Full Face. This guy, holy shit. David, you're gonna know when you start using yours. It is a banger. Very cool. Very cool stuff. So up in the chit chat, let's put you guys up there for the chit chat. So Charlotte's just announced it. Yeah, so I can also sort of back that up and give my thoughts. Charlotte had a bad phone call recently. She lost her mother. Now Charlotte is an American living in Australia for 13 years now, Charlotte, or is it a little less? I think you said 13. And so she's in Australia. Her mother passed away in America. That happened over the course of yesterday morning, our time. So the daytime 2 days ago in America. And yeah, I mean, she's announced that on the D Live yesterday. And well, it's not a nice thing to go through. And if I'm being honest about this, I lost my father 19 years ago, and sadly, and sorry to do this again, Charla, but my advice to you is it never fucking gets better. Not ever. You're now going to have to live with this. And it's absolutely shit. There's nothing good about it. You could say, dude, she needs support. More than that, realism is more important. And the realism is, it never gets better. I miss my dad every single day. I think about my dad, not every day. That's fair, not every day. At least once a week, something comes up where I think about my dad. And it's been 19 years. And I can go like that, and I'm back to the hospital when he died, in the same scenario with my family when he died. It's never... It's never good. It's not. And life sucks for that. Like, you know, you celebrate a birth of someone, like Poopsie was born. Yeah, woo, little Poopsie, cool. It's great. But then obviously there's got to be the flip side of that. When someone gets taken away, it's the opposite feeling. The birth is a beautiful, yeah, we got another one. Look at her little feet. Look at her little fingers. It's awesome, right? The opposite is, oh, we're losing someone. Look how old they are. Look at their fingers. Look at their feet. You know, it's the opposite effect. And those that don't value it and don't appreciate it, they're living in a fake world, right? They're living in a misguided world. You've got to accept and you've got to understand that this shit happens, and the realism is it never feels better. That said, we can certainly offer our support to Shyla and ask her questions, how she's feeling. And Shyla, whenever you're in the chat, I'm going to ask you, how do you feel today? How are things going? You know, I asked you last night, are you going to make steps to get back to America? And you said, well, no, my family needs me here in Australia. I completely understand that. The finances and this and that, I get that. I'm just going to ask you, I'm going to keep asking you, how are you? And whenever you come in, I just want you to know that you can talk to me about it. You can tell me whatever you feel about it. You can say, last week I felt good, you know, and then the week after I got angry because of this or that. I don't mind. Whatever goes through the emotional up and down roller coaster, you can express it to me either here on YouTube or on the D live stream or in a DM, whatever it is. You can, right? There's no... Well, you know that from me. I don't hide behind anything. You can express what you want when you want with me, and I'm here to listen and learn as well. I'm going to learn from this too. Not saying that I have all the answers. Not saying that at all. We can all learn from this. Benny, got to fly, folks. Have to work. Have a great day or evening. Thanks, Benny. And yeah, take care, man. Yeah, Benny, have a good day at work. So that said, and I think we are right at a point where just let's change the tone a little here. So, you know, I've been surfing for the whole month of February. Well, I did make a compilation video of each wave for that month. And I want to roll that for you now in the sense of a super quick wave a day edit. Now, this one is obviously not super quick. This one's a kind of a lengthy one. But what this will do is it'll give us a chance to go back and look at each wave. Each day, one wave per day in the whole sequence of the month. Kind of snappy. We'll get to hear the daydreamers again. When we come back, I definitely want to kick off the conversation topic. I want to talk about the flat earth theory, and I want to ask your guys' theories and opinions on one thing that I'm not sure of. And it may get divisive, it may get heated, it may get interesting. Well, it'll definitely get interesting, but I do need you guys to be able to respond to me logically, right? I want to be logical about this. I want to be logical about this. So let's have a look at the super quick wave a day edit. Bear in mind, it's about a 10-minute one, this one, so it's not super quick. So if you need to go out for a slash, you need to go out and buy some bog roll, you need to go and put the kettle on, whatever it is, go ahead and do it. And we're going to have this roll for 10 minutes. When we come back, the flat earth theory. Welcome back to the super quick wave a day edit. You see behind me there, the northern point of Culburra Beach? You know I surfed there every single day for the month of February. And what I want to do today on the super quick wave a day edit, not quite super quick, I want to give you a walkthrough of the entire month. One wave each day. This is a succinct summary, not very succinct, it goes for a little while. So sit back, enjoy myself surfing one wave every day for the month of February, right here on the northern point of Culburra Beach, where I think I did pretty well on some days, pretty poor on other days. But you know me, I don't want to be the judge of that. How about you decide? So the northern point of Culburra Beach is typically known as a left-hand break, a point break, and it's working right now. And I thought it would make sense if I tried to get the left for the first wave of the season. And not at all happy with my performance on day one, I went left again on day two.
He would rise, and he would rise.
But I quickly got over that, and so the next day I went right.
Willows were weeping.
One thing I noticed this season, I throw my arms around a lot more to get more movement on the board. I'm learning.
Is the day.
And I don't want to spoil the season for you, but I didn't quite tuck into any barrels. You're not going to get into this one, are you? It's way too small. I need to get snappier on these lefts. Like I do with the right, I need to get more throwing myself around. But I'm still learning. On day 7, the ocean got a little larger, and I probably should have stayed on this one, but I fell off.
Talks about it.
Now day 8. This marks the commencement of that nasty storm we had. Holy crap. We got swells maxing out at 7 meters during this storm. Now I was pretty reluctant to get out in those conditions, but I did take me some whitewater to keep the project rolling. Now you can see the conditions behind me. You can see how large that swell is. There's a real safety concern here. I'm not that skilled. Now I'm not gonna go and risk my life for the project, but what I would do, like yesterday, I would jump into the whitewater and take a lousy stand up on some flap. Day 3 of the storms, lots of coastal erosion, lots of insanity in the water. I caught myself a little whitewater just to appease the wave a day gods. Day 11 and a lot of crap coming out of the Shoalhaven River ended up right on the beach here. It was terrible. Again, I fought myself to get a little bit of whitewater. With all that crap coming down the Shoalhaven River into the Tasman Sea, the water quality became very, very sketchy. There was a dead wombat floating around. Now I wanted to get in and out as quick as possible, not open my eyes, get no water in my ears. I took this left and then I was out of there. Just look at the level of erosion here. Look how high that little storm-made cliff is. Again, water quality terrible, but I managed to get up on a left and get out of there quickly. Now, despite the storm having been over, there was still a lot of rubbish being washed up on the beach. Have a look at the quality of this water, the froth, the smell was terrible. I managed to get a pretty decent ride here though. This left was fun, but I didn't like being out there.
Willows were weeping. What happened to tomorrow?
Day 15, technically the middle of the month, and I was really lethargic for some reason. I couldn't quite get a decent ride. Look how lazy I look on this wave. I look terrible. Bad day. Day 16, and we had a lot of seaweed wash up on the beach, making for a very interesting paddle out, I can tell you now.
Everybody talks about it.
After falling off this wave, I got so trapped in the weed garden. It was insanity. Every time you'd move your leash, you'd get caught on a weed. I got so frustrated, I just got out of there quickly. The weeds stuck around for the next day, but I kind of enjoyed surfing over the top of the weed here. I could feel it hitting my fins. It's kind of like chopping underneath me, but I rode it all the way over. On day 18, I tried to stay high on the wave here, right on top of the lip. Did I get up there? I kinda did. And this is how I will get into the eventual barrel when I do. I'm gonna slow the board down, putting pressure on my back foot, dragging the board higher into the pockets. Spoiler alert, didn't happen here though. Day 20, I took a fun right-hander, but wound up in the weed garden. Now this weed garden didn't give me much trouble right there, but trying to get out of the ocean, man, it caused me so many dramas. I was falling over, getting tangled up. Not much fun, is it? Get that out, get him out of there, go on. One of the givers gave me a great suggestion about paddling out through weed. Take your leash off. Now I was lucky I could wrap my leash around my GoPro and keep it, well, more or less keep it on the front of my board if it stays up there. Once it's on there and you're paddling, you don't have anything catching onto the seaweed. It works really, really well, so thanks for that tip. And once I was out there, I got myself a nice right, and it also went left. Bit of swapsies here, swap it over, go right, go left. Thanks very much.
They'll walk around it. Let's do the right thing.
Day 22, it was kind of nice to see crew back at the beach after the storm conditions. This is the first day people turned up. I got a pretty nice right there too. The right was still working the next day, and I really enjoyed the speed on this guy. Woo! I was saying earlier how I've been really trying to work the wave, get a lot of movement in my arms, a lot of action, trying to like pump those waves. Well, this wave was really small, and I managed to work it as best as I could. And everyone has an day. I'm not sure what happened here. I just fell off, didn't quite keep my balance somehow. I don't know why or how this happened, but I'm off. I really like this wave for the speed I've got at the end of it. Look at me going off the back of my board with speed here. Bam, get out of there. By day 27, the swell had dropped off a fair bit, and even though this is a small wave, it was a lot of fun. Nice little right-hander there. Nearing the end of the month, and my brother turned up. We haven't surfed together in a long time. I gave him the modern highline. I didn't have a spare leash for him though, so every time he fell off, he had to paddle in, the paddle of shame. Kind of felt sorry for him, but it was nice for him and I to both get the same wave. It's like a party wave. And the last day of the month, I kind of wanted to go out here on a bang, and I sort of went out on a whimper. I don't know. It was a great season of surfing, but again, I didn't really get what I thought I'd get at this particular break. How did I do? The month of February completed, surfing every day. How was that? Did I get anything good in there? I know. The storm was terrible. The storm ruined everything. It's out of my control. The storm came in, it took over. Maybe in the month of May we won't have any storms because I'm gonna be hitting that break again in May. And now while I sit down and think about how rad that's gonna be, you guys can go back to the live stream. Oh shit. That gag didn't work, did it? They fell off my eyes. I was going to pretend I was laying here getting some coronavirus eye protection going on. Unfortunately, they fell off my eyes at the wrong time. Folks, I hope you enjoyed that 10-minute roll of my waves of February. That was the best waves each day, or the one wave of each day compiled into a package. Of course, the storms kind of ruined everything. That threw everything out of action for 6 days. I think 6 days was the total of that storm. And I don't think I had a great month, if I'm being honest. I've had better surfs in the days after the month. Easily. This time last week, I had the best surf I've had ever. And it was out there. And today looks good too. It's overcast, it's cold, it's raining. It's southwesterly swell and a southwesterly wind, which could mean there's barrels at the south end of the beach. So I'm going to go down there after. It's cold. I went out there now and it's freezing cold. Closed Channel up in the chit chat. G'day, Closed Channel. Welcome to the stream. Good to have you here, dude. Nice to see you. We haven't had you before, I don't believe. We haven't had you before. We haven't had your pleasure before either. Good to see you here. Tim, hi, Closed. Everyone's saying hi to Closed. Happy Canadian up in the chit chat. Jeffrey. Good to see you, man. Whoops, didn't even make eye contact there or make glass contact. Good to see you here, Jeff. What's going on, everyone? Good to have you, man. We're going to talk about the flat Earth theory now. Let's get into it because I feel like it could be a lengthy discussion, a lengthy, heated discussion. So, to preface this, we had on DLive. Now, did I mention I've got a DLive channel, folks? Did I mention that? If I haven't mentioned it, it's in the channel. It's in the chit chat right now. Go on. What am I doing this for? It's in the chat across to the side, right? Go and have a look at that. That's my DLive channel. Now, on DLive, we had a giver. I take links, right? We watch content. We watch videos. I took a link from someone who wanted to look into this flat Earth theory. They're a flat earther, and they said we want to open this discussion. And I said we can't do it today at the time that they put that in the chat because obviously it's a huge discussion. I said, how about we dedicate the entire stream tomorrow to having the discussion? And sure, we did. We came back the next day. We watched this documentary. It was a terribly put together documentary, very, very dubious. It relied on a lot of sketchy film techniques to make a point. We don't need to talk about that too much. But what it did do was it brought in the flat Earth community from the internet, and in this case DLive, into my chat to have discussion. And I want a discussion, right? That's the point of a live stream, to have a discussion. Heaven forbid you have a channel where you don't allow discussion and you don't allow critique and you don't allow people to criticize you and you don't allow people to grow because of criticism. Heaven forbid you cast a channel amongst the creators that doesn't allow that to happen, right? Just putting that out there as well. And by the way, there is action being taken on that scenario. The Creator Cast guys that thought, you know what? Let's just start Creator Cast again without Ben on. We'll use the existing artwork. We'll use the existing branding. We'll do it on DLive. Well, we are looking into that. There's a ticket that's opened with DLive right now to have that sort of resolved. Anyway, you know me. I want to always have a discussion. I would like to embrace the discussion. Now, I'm not suggesting anybody on this side of the argument or anybody on that side of the argument has a valid point or more valid than the next person. What I'm curious in and what I really like to scratch the top of, the conversation has valid points on both sides. So one person says one thing, the other person says the exact opposite and proves it and counterproves it. It's like, well, I can see how this is valid now. The issue that came up and the scenario that came up, which had me considering that, see, first of all, I believe the Earth is spherical. I believe we're on a globe. I don't believe the flat Earth model at all, right? I don't understand it. I don't believe it. Well, I understand more of it than I've ever done before, but I don't believe it. So, this gentleman, not only did he comment throughout the entire stream, putting in very, very cool comments, and we were discussing it, I said, actually, he said, hey man, how about I call in on Discord and we have an actual discussion? So after the documentary, we did this for 3 hours. After that documentary, we spent another hour on the blower, which is an Australian term for on the phone, which is an internet term for on the Discord, which is an internet term for using a microphone to have a voice discussion. We had Ron. We had Ron call in. And he put forward some very, very clear, valid points. The one that I really want to harness right now is this. The glass of water. Now, I'm going to bring this out here for added effect. So he suggested this glass of water, the water surface from this corner of the glass, or not corner, from this edge to this edge, right? That's a flat, like that's water, right? Water is always flat, right? You don't have an arch in water or a concave. You don't have convex, concave. You have a flat plane of water, right? That you tilt. Hang on, let me take a sip out of this. So, you've got a glass of water. That was a small sip, by the way. If I move the glass, what happens to the water? It stays level, right? It never bends. It never warps. It's always level, no matter what you do to the glass. So then Ron said, well, okay, that's a small glass in front of you. It's only like maybe 4 or 5 centimeters across. So think about a fish tank. It's about that wide, right? From that corner of the fish tank, or from that edge of the fish tank to that edge of the fish tank, again, the water is flat, right? That you're not seeing an arch in the water from one edge of the fish tank to the other. It's a very small distance. And he said, well, think about what do you know of water? Water stays level. So then you take that to an Olympic swimming pool, and you look from one end of the pool to the other, the diving block at the start of the pool and the end where the 50-meter stroke ends, that's a level piece of water, because water doesn't bend, right? So take it even further. Take it to the size of a football field. Fill the football field up with water as an aquarium. You got one edge of the aquarium, the other edge of the aquarium. That's a flat piece of water, because we know water doesn't bend. Then he said 70% of the surface of the earth is water, and therefore 70% of the earth would have to be flat, right? And it got me thinking. I'm like, I'm not a scientist. I flunked out at school. You've seen the video where I show my school reports. I was shithouse at school. But everything he said made sense to me. Starting off with the water in the glass. We know that's flat. The aquarium. We know that's flat. You don't have a bend in the water, ever. Take it to the next level, the swimming pool. From one end of the 50 meter to the other end. That's flat. We know that. You look down the pool. That's a flat plane of water, right? Take it to the length of the football field. 70% of the earth is covered in water, so that means that's a hell of a lot of flat area. Look, I'm going to bring the chat back in here, because this makes sense to me, right? And I'm not saying I believe in the flat earth theory, but that makes sense. Does it not? Now I'm going to read the chat, because I know I'm going to get flamed here. I'm waiting for the glass of water thing. Okay, Tim, this channel is full of non-believers. David Pretty Bread, the 3 globes there. Jim Marie, the earth and water are not on the outside boundaries. Okay, hang on. The earth and water are not on the outer boundaries. Water level is a non-valid point. The atmosphere finished off our globe. Land surface undeniably varies. Magnetism cannot be ignored. See, Chin Marie, I completely respect you, and I understand you have your opinion, and I have mine. And my opinion is the globe is a globe, right? The sphere. It's not a flat plane. That's my opinion. We don't live on a flat earth. That's my opinion. But that point that he made, you say it the way I said it, you can't deny it. There's never a bend in water. Is there? Is there a bend in an Olympic swimming pool from one end to the other? Is that water warped? Is that water convex? Even to a small degree. And then if you made a swimming pool that was 14 kilometers long, is that bending? Is that water doing what we know water does and staying level? Because that's the thing that when he explained that to me, I was like, all right, man. All right. You got me. You Walter Whited me. You got me. What could WW stand for? Walt Whitman? Walter White? You got me. You know what I'm saying? It was a point like that where it's like, that's a good point. That's a very, in my non-scientific mind, that is an extremely good point. I would like to be explained. I would like to be told why I'm wrong. And I don't mind being told where I'm wrong, folks. Unlike some other creators out there, I don't mind being told where I'm wrong. So if I'm wrong here, and if Ron Shackleton is wrong, I don't mind being told that. I want to grow from that. I don't want you to tell me. I want to discover that myself. Get off. Get out of here. If you have a closer look at a water in a glass, you will see that their edges are slightly lower than the rest. That's the meniscus, dude. That's the edge of the water. We're talking about the actual water. You're talking about how the water interacts with the surface surrounding it, not the surface, the edges surrounding it, not the actual surface, dude. Of course there's a meniscus. We all know there's a meniscus. That's how mosquitoes and water skimmers can sit on top of the surface of the water. We know that. That's not what I'm saying, dude. Mindy's channel. We're about to discuss gravity and surface tension. Okay, cool. Hi, Chad. Chad Armstrong. God, good day, Chad. I didn't even see you swing in. Hello, Chad. How you doing, man? Chad says... hang on. Chim Marie says water has... Hang on. Chim Marie says, I am saying it is round. Water is not the outside edge of the globe. The atmosphere is. So what you're saying is the globe itself is round, but everything underneath it is flat? That doesn't make any sense, really. The atmosphere is round, but the planet, the actual... What? That's very hard to put together because that would mean there's levels, Jerry, right? What? What the hell? Chad, the surface of the water conforms to the gravity of the Earth, not the container the water is in. The surface of the water conforms to the gravity of the Earth, not the container the water is in. Still hasn't really answered the question, though. I understand what you've just said, kind of, but does that mean that over the space of... Let's just say an arbitrary, let's just say over 10, let's say 10 miles. Is that water in that pool bending? Because I've never seen water bend, folks. I've got a glass of flat water here. I've never seen water bend. I mean, have you? Jim Marie says the air we breathe, the atmosphere completes the globe. Do you know what, folks? Should we do this? Let's just put up here. There is a link in the chit chat now. Now I'm just putting this out here. If you do want to call in to express yourself, that's the link there. That's the Discord link. I'm going to just open up my Discord now, just so that I know. So I'm in there. If you do want to call in and you think that you can make a point cleaner and quicker, the Discord link there is there for you. It's called the Gives a Minute YouTube call-in line. Now, I'll just jump in there right now. So I'm in there now, and if you do come in, I'll hear you. But if you do come in, make sure you have a set of Kansas and a microphone. And for the love of everybody, mute the stream, right? So don't have the stream playing at the same time. You just want to hear me. If you do call in, ignore the stream and just listen to me, right? Otherwise, there'll be an almighty feedback loop. So yeah, that's there in the chit chat. So let me just read. Robert Porter, g'day Robert, how you going, buddy? Good to see you. Tim Arskog, if you had a swimming pool that's very long, 20 to 30 kilometers, you could see the bend in the water. But are you telling me then, Tim, if you put a level, right, a level meter, that would not be a straight, that water would bend? I mean, yeah. Chad, which is why when you tilt your glass, when I tilt this glass, the water line stays consistent. Hang on a thing. I think Chad just had 2 points there. Chad says the surface of the water conforms to the gravity of the Earth, not the container. So this vessel is irrelevant. Okay, I get that. I understand that point. Which is why when you tilt the glass, the water line stays consistent. Yeah, okay. So that's proving that the surface of the water conforms to something else, not the vessel. It's conforming to another outside force, aka gravity. Okay, that makes sense. Ever see a raindrop falling in slow-mo? It's round. I have seen that on the Discovery Channel. Okay. I think we're getting somewhere here, folks. I think we're unraveling why this doesn't work. Ron, if Ron here, Ron, are you here, Ron? We need you to back yourself up here, because I think your theory is being disproven here, and I'm understanding it, which is kind of a rarity in its own self. Chad says, the glass aquarium swimming pool test is invalid because you're not testing against the gravity of the Earth. When you use the word testing against, you probably mean testing for. And I hear someone coming in the Discord right there, folks. Who have we got in the Discord call-in line right now? Mindy up in the chit chat. G'day, Mindy.
Hello.
How are you doing? Ooh, big delay there. We heard a hello. Mindy, you got an issue there? I see you there, Mindy. Shaking that ass. I see you there. I can hear you
You're
too
cutting
sometimes.
out from time to time.
Oh, okay. I'm cutting out for you, or you think the stream's cutting out? Interesting.
It sounds like it's buffering, maybe.
Okay, maybe there's an issue. Do you want to just jump out and come back in again? Try that.
I will.
And I'll do the same. I'm going to quit Discord, and then I'm going to go back into Discord. I'm not too sure what that was, but we could hear Mindy. We just couldn't quite get her consistently. So I'm going to go back into Discord and try reloading it once more. Paula says, Mindy's a flat earther. Mindy, I'm going to get back into the Gives a Minute. I'm in there now. Okay, so if we do hear Mindy come in, we'll hear her. So while Mindy sort of tries to resolve that, we'll get back in there. Chin Marie says, no, forget it, I give up. No, don't give up, Chin Marie. I think, look, let me be clear. I'm not saying one or the other. I'm saying someone presented a decent argument to me, and I want to work out why, as a 44-year-old, I'm questioning that. And I hear Mindy back. Mindy, I hear you back there.
Yep, you sound good on my end.
Okay, perfect. What are your thoughts here?
Oh, I was just going to bring up the point of a raindrop. Raindrop before it hits another force is round when you see it in slow.
When it hits another force, or it's succumbing to gravity at that point that it's falling, so gravity makes it round?
Oh, I couldn't hear everything you said.
Okay, that's interesting, folks. I'm not sure if that's my end or if it's Mindy's end. I was just saying, is the raindrop round because it is succumbing to gravity as it's falling? So gravity is forcing it to take a different shape.
Oh. I'm going to try to call in with my iPad instead of my iPhone. I can't hear everything you're saying.
Okay, understood. Okay, we'll try again. We'll get there, folks. We'll get there. She's going to call in with her iPad. Maybe there's something else going on. So reading the chat. Yeah, Chin Marie, don't give up. I'm here to learn. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we need to be able to open ourselves to this discussion. We need to be able to have a fluid conversation based around these kind of things. Because if the second we stop questioning it, and the second we just take everything on, we're kind of limiting ourselves. So I always want to learn. I always want to have the possibility that maybe I've got things wrong, and go from there. You don't want to be, and I'll use the example again, you don't want to create a cast this where you shut down from any learning. You don't want to bury your head in the sand to the point where you're not open to anything new, because that's when you become arrogant. That's when you become egomaniacs. That's when you lose sight of the whole scope of what we're actually here for. We're here to, nobody's born smart. Well, some people might have been, Einstein and whatnot, but we're all here to further our knowledge and further our appearances, get better, learn better, create better. You do what CreatorCast did, and you bury yourself in the sand, and you don't open yourself to being wrong and to learn, then you suffer the consequences. So I never want to fall into that mindset. That's why I'm happy to have this discussion. And look, Before Chad said it's the vessel it's contained within which is causing it to do that, I hadn't thought about that. So the point of that is that I've got this concept in my head, but now I've just understood how come that's working. So we're getting somewhere. We're here to learn, right? Chin Marie, don't disappear, Chin Marie. Tim says, Chin, you're too young. Don't give up. There you go. The level would be a straight edge, and you could see the waters bend. The level will be a straight edge, and you could see the waters bend. See, that's a strange statement, Tim. The level would be straight edge, but you could see the water bending. It's either straight or it's bent. It can't be both. Paula says, someone call in. Tim says, Chad, thanks. I'd hate to clean that large pool. I'm with you. I'm with Tim. Tim, just don't use a laser as a straight edge line as light bends. That's true. Light does bend. We do know that, yeah. Brent, g'day Brent. Welcome to the stream, my friend. I just realized that I've been watching the stream 10 minutes behind. Oh shit. Oh shit. What kind of a curve are you on, Brent? You got to hit Command R or F5 on a PC, right? Refresh that stream. Is that not politically correct to say? Tim says, too bad I'm old-fashioned. Discord has a coronavirus, Paula says. It's got a virus, David Pretty Bread. If you watch a big ship disappear in the horizon, you have proof. You have the proof, or you have bad eyesight. Yeah, I mean, that definitely is a thing. Like, I live on an ocean. I live on the Tasman Sea. I see ships go across that horizon and down all the time, right? You see a big Danny Black ship boat, right? And it starts off, you see the whole ship because it comes from the north, right? From up Sydney, and it's heading down, possibly down to the Tasmania or something, and it goes out, or maybe it's going to New Zealand, who knows? And it goes out across the horizon, and you see it getting smaller and smaller, and the last thing you see, because I've been on those ships, or that ship, the last thing you see is the blue P&O big sail thing at the top of the, what was the zip line, all that shit, the edge, all the edge stuff. That's the last thing you see as it disappears over the horizon. Mindy, I hear you're back. Is this going to work this time?
I hope so. Can you hear me okay?
That's much better. Yeah, it seems like it's cleaner and faster. Oh shit.
Oh, but your voice is cutting out.
My voice is cutting out. Let me see if I've done something wrong at Discord end. Let me just have a quick look at voice and video. Element 46. Let's check the mic. The mic is on. Output is on. Let me just try that. Has that made any difference to you, Mindy? It shouldn't have. Very strange. Mindy, do you have push to talk selected in Discord? Push to talk. Do you have that selected? I don't think Mindy can hear me. I don't think Mindy can hear me right now. I don't think anybody can hear me right now. Can anybody hear me right now? You guys can hear me right now. Default. That should be on default. Mindy, can you hear me now?
I heard you for a second, but then you cut out again.
Okay, I don't understand why this is cutting out. I really don't have any clue there. We can all hear you, but you can't hear me, Mindy. Like I'm cutting out. Is that like when you say I'm cutting out? Do you hear the start of a conversation?
I can't.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I hear you most of the time. Then it'll cut out the last words you say or something like that.
Okay. Well, okay. How about this instead? You can use your time now, and I'll keep quiet, and you can express your thoughts. And when you're finished, just say, okay, that's my point, and then I'll retaliate. So we'll just listen to you for a little while. So go ahead now. The floor is yours.
Okay. Well, I was just going to mention again about the, when you see water falling in droplets, those drops are round until they're affected by another force, like gravity holding it in a cup. That water stays in that cup because it's being pulled down, and so it's going to be in a flat line, other than, of course, the meniscus effect, if we're talking about liquid being water. The but it does want to hold itself in a spherical shape as it is falling, um, or when it's flying through the air, whatever path that it's been sent in, if it's just falling due to gravity or if it's been shot out of a water cannon or whatever. So that kind of erases that. Why is it flat in the surface of the water, in the surface of the cup, in my opinion? Anyway, that's my point. Go
Okay,
ahead.
okay. Very, very cool. So the object that the water is contained within is what's causing its appearance. And in the sense of a cup, it's gravity that's holding it inside this cup, inside this glass. And in the sense of the ocean, it's the atmosphere which is holding the water down. I guess. I know we have issues here. I'm inclined to pop in Discord just to help. Chad, we use the Discord a lot, not a lot, often, and we never have this kind of an issue. Maybe maxing the upload bandwidth. Are you talking about in Discord, Paula? Because I haven't changed any Discord bandwidth. Let me just have a look if there's a setting for that. Automatically determine input sensitivity. I'll try turning that off. I just automatically switched off the input sensitivity. Has that made any difference, Mindy?
There might be something wrong with my Wi-Fi at my house too. Now it's acting kind of squirrely.
That could be that. It could be that. I mean, I haven't done anything different here at all at my end, and we've used this. I mean, we used this on DLive without any issues at all. The exact same setup. But is there a bandwidth? Paula, you said maybe maxing the upload bandwidth. Is that a setting you know of in Discord? Because if you don't know of a setting, don't offer it, because if it's not here, I'm looking for it and I can't quite find it. Privacy, authorized apps, connections, streamer mode enabled, billing, no, Discord Nitro, gift inventory, server boost, hype squad, voice and video, there, camera settings, preview, audio, codec, echo cancellation, that's on, noise suppression's on, automatic gain controls on, enable quality of service, high packet priority. Hints to your router that the packets Discord is transmitting are high priority. Some routers or internet services providers may misbehave when this is set. I'll turn that off and see if it makes a difference. I just turned that off. So we'll see if that makes a difference at all. But either way, Mindy, I did understand your point, if I understood it correctly. So you were saying that the vessel that the water is contained in the case of the example, it's a glass jar or a glass tumbler, is giving the. Hang on a second. So when rain's falling from the sky, it's still succumbing to gravity, obviously, because the gravity's bringing it down. But the moment that water enters a glass, the glass then determines the shape of the water. I don't think Mindy can't hear me there, and I'm gonna have to just. She's got something funky going on with her. I'm gonna just mute Mindy there. Mindy, I just muted you because there's a lot of movement going on your mic for some reason. So Paula says maybe. No, I mean maybe you are maxing your upload or your connection with everything running. If that was the case, that would be happening on DLive too whenever we do this. I can hear Mindy packing her joint. Yeah. Maxing the upload bandwidth, meaning you're trying to pump too much data into your bandwidth and your bandwidth cannot handle it. If that was the case, you guys would be seeing a stream that's struggling as well. The stream is fine. I don't know. Mindy, it looks like we might not be able to have this discussion. I'm going to unmute you. I mean, I haven't done anything here, folks. It's the exact same setup. And we've had Mindy call in before without any dramas. So, Mindy, can you hear me now? I guess she can't hear me. Mindy, you can't hear me? Okay. I'm going to bump Mindy out there. I think Mindy, I think you can't hear me, can you? She's hearing me on the stream. Okay, I'm gonna bump Mindy out. I bumped you out, Mindy. I didn't do that with any malice. I just did that because it's obviously not working. If anybody else wants to call in and see if they can make this thing fluid conversation, there's the link again in the chit chat. Sorry about that, Mindy. I don't know what was going on there. If it's possibly your internet connection, do you want to do a reset on your router? Maybe that could be an option. Because as I said, my stream, and we could do a speed test right here, folks. Let's go to speedtest.org or .net, is it? .net, I think it is. Now there is someone else just jumped in. Let me just do a quick speed test here before we find out who that was, just to make sure we're going well here. Your available bandwidth is determined by how many other people are trying to use the system all at the same time. This used to be a common problem for you 1 year ago every Saturday morning. I mean, yeah, but then you would be seeing my stream struggling, right? My stream, and by the way, I didn't do this correct because it's got to actually... It should default to Digital Pacific, not Yes Optus. I was going to choose Digital Pacific over Yes Optus. Actually, Digital Pacific's been down the last few days. So I got a 20 millisecond ping. I've got download of around about 80 megabits a second, and the upload should be between 20 to 30, I guess. Yeah, 23, 20, there's 30. So it's definitely not at my end here. That's not my end. Yeah, it's not at my end. Chad says, it's me in your Discord and you do sound very choppy. Odd. Okay, interesting. Let's go back to here. Shishka, I see Shishka there. Very, very strange. I sound choppy in Discord. Okay. I don't know what to suggest there. The microphone is the correct microphone. Let me go back to voice and video. Input device is element 46. I'm going to try something else here. I'm going to try changing the input device to the MacBook Pro microphone. And I'm just going to see if that made any difference at all.
My goodness, I hear you loud and clear now.
That's made a difference?
Yeah, you are perfectly clear.
Okay, now first of all, if I've done that, everybody else can still hear me, but does the stream hear a double up on the Discord? Because now I'm using the microphone from the laptop, I'm using this microphone for the stream, but the MacBook Pro microphone for Discord. If that's the case, Shishka, sorry, Chad, nice to have you, by the way.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
No, thank you.
So what can you hear? Can you hear me if I tap my microphone here? I'm tapping it now.
I don't hear any tapping, no.
Okay, perfect. Well, we may have resolved this.
Excellent.
Mindy says we hear. Chad, go ahead, man. The floor is yours. And Mindy, if you want to call back in, Mindy, go ahead and do that because we can obviously have this discussion now clearly. Go ahead, Chad. What do you want to say?
Okay, sure. I mentioned gravity, but I feel like maybe I wasn't very descriptive enough before trying to fit it all into chat messages.
Cool.
So the initial premise of your friend's argument, I need to mute your stream one moment. There we go. The initial premise is that when you are looking at the water in a glass or an aquarium or a swimming pool, the surface of that water is flat. So it stands to reason that if you were to scale that experiment out to the length of an ocean, the water is still flat, thus flat Earth.
That's the theory, yeah.
I believe that's actually wrong. It is very difficult to measure, but the water in your glass actually does curve because every point of the surface of the water is being pulled towards the center of the Earth. That's what gravity does.
Okay.
The global scale of that is why we have an ocean, because all water is being pulled towards the center, and that's actually what causes the concept of sea level. This kind of average point at which water settles against itself, trying to reach the center of the Earth due to the forces of gravity being applied to it.
So
you're really difficult to measure thing.
Yeah, I mean, totally. Who has a measuring stick that long? Mindy, you're back now. I hope you can hear us clearly, Mindy. Is that you can hear us, Mindy?
Oh, it sounds choppy to me.
Oh,
Okay.
You sound choppy to me, Mindy.
Okay, that might be your end, Mindy. I feel like
Yeah,
we've
it's definitely
yeah.
choppy on my end. I'm going to go ahead and just listen to the stream.
Okay, thanks for trying, Mindy. Appreciate you trying. Um, yeah. So that's a very interesting point. There's no real way of measuring it, and also the reason you said the reason we have oceans is because the amount of water on the surface of the planet is trying to pull itself to the center, and that's what forms pockets of water, aka oceans, right?
Correct.
Interesting.
And Jimbo mentions in chat that gravity is not a force, and he is correct. I misspoke. A natural phenomenon caused by mass, but yeah, and that's basically what keeps any of us attached to the Earth, assuming you believe that the Earth is round, which I do. Is this constant application of mass pulling you in towards the middle, and yeah, so kind of if I might proselytize a little bit here, the one of the issues with a lot of flat Earth arguments tends to be like make an initial statement and believe that that is true, and it typically isn't. And in this case, I believe the theory that water is always flat is technically untrue. It could be imperceptibly curved because the distance you're measuring is so short that you can't create a ruler accurate enough to measure it. But it's all trying to settle into a position where it is level against its exact position to the center of the Earth, which actually means it's going to have a curve to it.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, look.
I
look.
hope I'm saying that clearly.
Yeah, that's very clear. You're very concise, and that's what I've believed, and that's what I've known. Since I was a kid, right? So it's no stretch in my mind to understand that. But when this gentleman Ron came in and explained, the way he explained it to me, he was like, well, look in that glass, and like that's a flat piece of water. Do you ever know water to bend? And I was thinking, well, I kind of do when I look out at the horizon on the ocean. I see you don't see the physical bend of the water, but you see it disappearing. Yeah. And then of course he had a counteract to that too. Oh, that's not a curvature of the Earth or anything. That's something to do with atmospheric conditions creating some kind of not a mirage, but some kind of an illusion. And I was like, well, and then he
like a stretch, doesn't it?
That does sound like a stretch, yeah. But then he went on and made a point about a lake in Michigan where it's the same. So what he said that there's two lakes on the. Let's picture the west side and the east side of this lake, and then there's a landmass. Sorry, there's two lakes and there's a landmass in between. The landmass being, I think he said Michigan, and on the one side, the edge of that lake is 400. Let's just say 445 meters above sea level, and then on the other side of the lake, the next lake on the west side of the next lake, the same sea level, so it measures the same. So they say both of these cities are at 445 meters above sea level. He said then you technically should be able to see one to the other across the landmass because they're the same. They're flat basically between the two. So between one city and the other city in this landmass, that's a flat. That should be the exact. You should be able to draw a level across that. And he was saying, I think I might have messed up his argument because he was saying that is flat, but people say that you can't see that. What is he saying?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like I'm wording it really badly, but he was basically saying if that city is at the same height above sea level as that city, then there's got to be a flat line across the two, between the two. And I was like, yeah, but you can't see that far. And he said, but you can. And then he asked me to search how far you can see the Statue of Liberty from. How far away can you see that? And he said you can see that 60 miles away or something.
He's again making the argument that sea level is a flat line, but it's not. It's curved around the surface of the Earth.
Yeah, there you go. I guess that's the basis of his argument, and that's kind of where it fell apart. Yeah,
exactly.
Jimbo in the chat, thanks for your comments, Jimbo. I didn't address them, but we did read them. We did hear about them. Mobile fluids, look it up. Looks like a Great Lakes profile, flat lakes, all five. Jimbo, yeah, that's what I think he was talking about. The Great Lakes of Michigan. If there was a curve, a laser would not bounce back. There's actually another point that Tim made earlier, and what do you think about this? The not using a laser because light bends. What are your thoughts on that? Chad, sorry, I didn't.
Well, sorry, because light bends. I think I might have missed the point he was making earlier.
Yeah,
Light bends.
he was saying light bends.
I mean, light bends because of a number of reasons. Light also bends due to gravity. Light bends due to atmospheric refractions, moisture in the water. Like if you were trying to use lasers, there are things that can interfere. And yeah, so I'm not entirely sure what we're going for with that argument.
I just remembering the documentary. There was a documentary that came out a little while back about the flat Earth, Beyond the Curve, and they went ahead and tried that put the tripod here, and then 14 miles down the way put the next tripod, and have it the exact same height from the ground, and then fire a laser through it, and then you should be able to see the laser in the center of the eyepiece. And they didn't. They were like, well, we can't see it. And then the other dude was like, well, you just disproved the flat Earth theory right there, because you can't see the laser at the same height through this pinhole. That's because the Earth is curved, and one tripod's lower than the other. That's not that. But the flat Earth community were like, no. There was a refraction in the air, and then we heard lasers bend and all. So, what are your thoughts on that? Like, did they disprove their own theory right there?
I mean, again, it becomes like a matter of scale, right? Like, I think, yeah, it does pretty much disprove. And when you have to come up with, like, here are all the variables that are the reason why we're still right, I feel like your argument is falling apart, or at least you're approaching your argument backwards.
Yeah. But then they will. You said it's a question of scale. Then they will often go back to they'll go forward to the argument about the plane flying from Sydney to LA. Then the plane should theoretically be dipping its nose incrementally as it moves along. Otherwise, it'll fly off the round Earth. Like when someone says that to me, I'm like, that kind of makes sense, right? If a plane is flying around a sphere like a globe, it can't be traveling at 37,000 feet the whole time. It's going to have to keep dropping it. But then I don't understand how that works, because it's relative to what? It's relative to the center point of the Earth, right?
Correct. Yeah. So I mean, the plane feels straight from the perspective of it drawing a straight line down to the center of the Earth. But if you were to take, say, the moment the plane reaches 35,000 feet or whatever into the air, and you take the orientation of the plane at that point, and then you compare that to the orientation of the plane when it's circumnavigated half the globe, the plane will look like it has dipped its nose if you take those two rotations and compare them directly next to each other, because it actually is, because it is always facing the bottom of the plane towards what is essentially the center of the Earth.
Interesting. And what would the flat Earth crew say about that? They'd say, no, it's the meter in the plane, like the altimeter and all that, is saying it's been at 37,000 feet the whole time. So there's a thing of relativity, right? It's where you're
absolutely.
and I was using this discussion point against this guy. I was saying, isn't that the same thing, kind of, when you talk about you're driving in a vehicle and the vehicle's doing 60 mile an hour, and from the back of the vehicle, inside of it, there's a blowfly, and it flies from the back of the vehicle to the front of the vehicle and lands on your ear. Has that blowfly been traveling at 68 miles an hour to get to you? Well, no, it's been traveling at 8 miles an hour relative to the vehicle it's in, but relative to the outside road where the vehicle's running on, sure, if you flung that out the window, it's going to be flying at 68 miles an hour. So
Yeah,
I get that. Yeah, I understand that. And how come that same, and they understand that, so how come that same theory doesn't or won't get transferred across to the plane dipping its nose?
Because it's one of those things where you kind of have to change the way you think about it. Like, it's not, you don't really think about when you're in a plane that plane is especially like if you're flying across the world or something like that, or even just across to another town nearby, that plane is actually slowly rotating relative to the Earth. You just kind of think about it as like you're going in a straight line. I mean, you can't really sense the curvature you're traveling over. Oop, that is my phone. I apologize.
That's okay.
I'm gonna have to actually get off soon and take that. But
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, it's sort of like a basketball looks round to us, but what would it look like to an ant on the surface?
Ah, that's a good
It
point.
would look much flatter.
Yeah,
It would look
because it's much bigger. Yeah, it looks from
Yeah.
that smaller perspective, it looks much flatter and larger because it is.
Exactly. So again, it's just a matter of being able to shift your perspective to a scale that most of us really have no reason to actually think about.
I know you've got to split very quickly. Let me just ask you one
Sure.
quick final point. They then
Yeah.
talk about the flight paths of planes. Like they'll say, well, if the flight's going up and across, then why does a flight to LA go over Africa and that way? And they open up the globe to the flat plane and they draw a line straight across. And where the planets are, where the continents are, it looks kind of strange that the flight does go straight, but then when you wrap that around the 3D model, it looks like it's going up and down again.
Right.
Do you-
Sorry, what was
I guess the question was, I guess it's not really a question. It's more of a point. I'm sort of curious as to see why that's an argument in the flat Earth community. Like, if they're on the one point they're arguing that the planet is flat, but then they're using the three-dimensional globe as their argument. So it's like, well, how can you make an argument based on something that you don't believe? You either believe it's flat or it's round. If it's flat, then your itinerary checks out. If it's round, it doesn't check out. So it's
Yeah, a lot of that I feel has to do with like kind of a mistake that comes from mapping 3D movement to a 2D surface.
yeah, that's what I'm trying. That's what I'm
Like,
struggling to get
yeah.
out there. Yeah, they're mapping it on
Yeah.
the wrong map, basically.
Exactly. It's sort of like you were talking earlier in the stream about somebody talking about why is a radar screen two-dimensional.
Yes.
It's a mapping. We're taking a 3D position and putting it on a 2D space because that's easier to understand and comprehend. But it doesn't necessarily accurately portray the position and movement through space.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I understand that. And then the flat Earth community will say, well, look at the emblem of the United Nations. That's a flat Earth. And I'm like, that's a graphic design's representation. That's an art student who's designed that. That doesn't say that's what it is. It's just crazy.
That's odd. Yeah.
Hey Chad, before you do go, let me just
Yeah.
ask you. We've never seen you before on the stream. Nice to have you. How did you come
Yeah, nice
across
to be here.
this stream?
I started following you during your most recent Wave a Day.
Oh, dude, thank you.
I was absolutely loving it, actually. I'm something of a beginner surfer, so seeing someone who's a little bit ahead of me, well, I would say pretty far ahead of me. I'm pretty bad, if I'm being honest.
Thanks.
But seeing, like, over the course of the last month, you've been improving steadily. You've been tackling different kind of waves at one point. Yeah, so it's been really engaging for me to actually watch and see how you do and what you're learning.
Wow, man.
So
Well,
yeah, and so I saw a note on YouTube about you about to start a stream, and so I thought I'd tune in.
dude, thank you so much, man. You don't know how much that means to me, man. I really appreciate that because I have trouble converting viewers of the Wave a Day into like what I call givers, right? The givers on the channel, the regular crew. And you're just fresh here and you've come from that. So man, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, dude.
My pleasure, and thank you. And I mean, I'm sorry about what happened with Global Surf Industries.
Yeah, me
And
too.
I really do hope that you find a way to keep the project running, because I've really been enjoying it.
Well, I definitely will, man. Now, knowing that there's people out there like yourself that are into it and that are keeping tabs on it and they want to surf themselves, they're getting better themselves. That's the reason I do it, to keep the stoke alive, to get better as a surfer, and to share that. So this is great feedback, man. Thank you so much, Chad.
Absolutely. I need to go.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Well, thank you for
Bye.
calling in, and maybe we'll see you
Yeah.
next time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Chad. See you, mate. Dudes, that is so rad. Like, let me just forget the flat Earth conversation. We think we've wrapped that up, right? We understand it now. But I've been feeling pretty shitty. I've been feeling pretty down. A bunch of stuff has gone down in the last week or so. Global surf industries, the creator cast crap. I've been feeling, and I got this skin cancer. I've been feeling pretty shit. Like, if I'm being honest, I've been feeling pretty down. Then that happens. One person, and he didn't even say anything throughout the whole stream about that. And I just thought I'd, just out of curiosity, who are you and where'd you come from? How'd you come across the channel? Well, I came from a waiver day. Man, yes! Just one person, that's all I need. One person to tell me that. It makes this whole thing worthwhile. And it's almost like I can definitely bounce back from the global surf industry is collapsing. I can definitely move forward with a new sponsor. I can definitely move forward with the project. Just one person validating it gives me that stoke, that charge to continue. It's like you're out the back and you're like, oh, I'll probably go in now. This surf's been pretty lousy. And then you look over the horizon, over that bend, and you see a big mama coming in, and you're like, yes. And you get on it, and you ride it, and you're like, yeah, I'm back out there. And you paddle back out. Instead of paddling in, you paddle back out. Chad was great to listen to, Mindy says. Yeah, he was. Chad, thanks, everyone. Happy to remind you what it's all about, man. Dude, yeah, I do need that every now and then. Like, I need cuddling every now and then. I need someone to reach out and say, dude, pat on the back, you're doing okay. Because more than not, I just get the crap, right? I get the shit. I get treated pretty poorly by my friends. We've seen this roll out with the Creator Cast crap. To make a channel using my content, that's pretty poor behavior from friends, right? And just to act like nothing's happened. I get treated pretty badly. And it's beautiful to see that come through. That's so nice, Chad. Charlotte says, Waiver Day is awesome. A new sponsor will come along. I feel it. I feel it, Charlotte. I feel it. David, Chad is what the doctor described. Yes, Chad is the corona cure right there, folks. I don't have coronavirus that I know of. I might have it. Actually, how would I have it? I live in a remote town. There's no one down here. Chad, the live stream is on here the same time each Friday. Yeah, it is. I do a live every week at the same time. I'm an organic chemist, so I know a bit of science. Jimbo, well, it's nice to have you, Jimbo, as well, dude. If you want to call in next time, I'm gonna try to open up the call-in lines more often. I don't do it enough, but I'm gonna try to do that more often. And because the conversation is important, and I think I'm gonna always try to use the laptop microphone, not this one's. I've been using this one for the stream, but for the Discord, I'll use the laptop one, and maybe we don't know. Maybe it'll go back to being fine how it was before. We'll see. But I want to say now, thank you to everybody who's been here in the chit chat. Thank you for all your support all the time on this channel, throughout the week, throughout the daily vlogs, the Waiver Day stuff, the live stream. It's really nice to have you all here. It does give me validation that I'm going to continue, both here on YouTube and DLive. Those two are going to work together hand in hand. You know that. I'm not doing one or the other. I'm going to do DLive. I'm going to do YouTube. I can hear my outro music rolling right now, folks. I will see you all this time tomorrow, this time next week on the YouTube, and in a few hours today on the DLive. I'm going for a surf, by the way. Hell yeah. Oh, that's we're out of time.